My pregnant wife went numb at work. Doctors said FND. Then a new MRI found a spinal stroke. My wife called me from her shift. She's pregnant and works in a hospital. Her voice was tight. She said her arms hurt and were going numb. She had paged her doctor and was waiting. I told her to call me if I needed to come get her. An hour later, she said they told her it was probably nothing, but she wanted to go home. I drove over. When I got there, she was in tears. She couldn't move her arms and couldn't feel her fingers. I said, "We're going to the ER." We walked to the car slowly. By the time we reached the entrance, her legs started to twitch. In the car, she said she couldn't feel them. Every few seconds, her legs jerked hard. I pulled up to the ER and yelled for help. A team came with a stretcher. They lifted her out and rolled her inside. Vitals, wristband, questions, bright lights. They put gel on her belly and checked the baby. Strong heartbeat. I could hear it in the room and felt my chest loosen for a second. They rushed her to MRI and checked her spine, neck to mid-back. The scan was clean. No damage, they said. That didn't match what I was seeing. We sat in a room under buzzing lights. Monitors beeped steady. She couldn't feel or move anything below her chest. She could lift her arms, but her hands did nothing. No squeeze, no twitch. A neurologist came in and said they were clueless. We stayed. Hours turned into a day, then two. I tried to be steady when she was awake. When she slept, I fell apart. I went downstairs once and broke down in front of a stranger. He hugged me. I held on longer than I should have. "If you pray, please pray," I said to him. We kept asking what it could be. They ruled out Guillain-Barré. They said it comes on slower and starts in the feet. Hers started in the hands and hit fast. I asked about transverse myelitis. They said no. They ordered a lumbar MRI. The neurologist also ordered a spinal tap to check for infection. More blood, more vials, more waiting. The baby kept showing strong, which helped us breathe. They ran an EEG, an EMG, an echocardiogram, and an EKG. Techs came and went with carts and wires. She lay still while people put on stickers and tiny needles and asked her to try to move. Then a new idea landed hard. They decided it was functional neurological disorder. They said physical therapy would help. We asked for inpatient rehab. The local center said no. Centers in nearby states also said no. The next step would be skilled nursing, not covered. It would cost $2,000 a week for months. Case managers left voicemails. I sat on hold while a recording thanked me for my patience. A bed board met and said there were no beds for us. A billing rep slid a stack of forms across a tray and asked for signatures. I watched her legs jump under a thin blanket. She stared at the ceiling and blinked hard. A clerk told me the hospital stay might not be covered either. It felt like a punch while we were already on the floor. I couldn't accept it. I started calling people. Over the years, I had gotten to know a few PTs. I texted my neighbor. She worked at a different place but knew people. She said she would ask around. I called a friend who ran PT at another clinic. He was a groomsman at our wedding. He was on vacation. His wife, a PT at the hospital, was with him. I scrolled through old texts with shaking hands. She said she would make calls. The next day, we got a call. Suddenly, my wife was approved for the rehab center that had denied us. My wife and I wondered how. We looked up my friend's wife online. She worked at that rehab center. Not just worked, she was one of the top doctors. She had pulled the string. My other friend had reached out too, not knowing about her. Two unconnected lines tugged the same door. It opened. After 11 days in the hospital, they moved us to inpatient rehab. A new neurologist met us there. He wanted another MRI. We waited 2 more days for the read. He came in, sat down, and said it wasn't FND. He said it was a spinal cord stroke. The room went quiet. It explained the loss, the pattern, the speed. I felt angry at the missed steps, and also relief that someone finally named it. That night, my friend and his wife brought dinner. She answered our questions in plain words. She said we needed a more specialized place. She said she could set that up. After 13 days, they moved us again. This time, it was a spinal rehab unit. The halls were quiet, and the rooms had gear built for this. The team reviewed the notes and said we were in the right place now. They laid out a plan for the next few months. They started treatment for a spinal cord stroke. They wheeled her bed into the therapy gym for the first time. I walked beside her and held her shoulder. The therapist raised the head of the bed and asked her to try to move her toes. She stared at her feet and tried. The monitor beeped steady. I squeezed her arm and nodded. The doors closed behind us and the work began. Now some family are saying I pushed too hard for more tests. Was I wrong?